Hey, good evening, folks. How you doing? This is Fred Wiggins, Evangelist Fred Wiggins, and I'm sharing with you today. We're commenting on a video from CBN News Network, which is the Christian Broadcasting Network, and we're going to be talking about Christian persecution across the world in 2025. This video today we're going to be highlighting is featuring some of the persecution and the events that have happened in the nation of Nigeria. Some of you may not know Nigeria is somewhat of a split nation back in the earlier years, around 15th, 14th century, when the Arab colonization was taking place across of Africa. They ended up in Nigeria, and probably land-wise, they sees like the northern half of Nigeria. So Nigeria is one of those nations where the population is split religiously, and there's a heavy Islamic influence in one region and a more Christian influence in the other region. And that's because Christianity actually preceded Islam, as we know, by about 700 years. So Christianity was already in Nigeria for the most part, several hundred years before Islam reached Nigeria. But in today's time, that there's a political situation and situation of influence which Islam or Muslims have in Nigeria, and it has led to some serious ongoing Christian persecution for our brothers and sisters over there. And we just want to feature that. Like I said, I'll put the link below to the entire video, and where you can see more content, more information about what's going on in Nigeria. But I just wanted to highlight it so that there are nations or in places in the world where we don't live under that threat. We don't live under the threat of someone could come into our home, into our town, into our village, and murder and butcher people because they believe in Jesus Christ as their Savior. But where they are now, especially some of the remote areas of Nigeria, remote villages and towns, that's what is happening. They are living under the fear of jihadists who think it's their religious call or act of their faithfulness to God, to Allah, to go out and to eliminate Christians or who they would consider to be unbelievers or who they would consider to be infidels. So without further ado, we're going to get into the video, and I'll be coming in throughout a little bit just to elaborate on some things. So let's go.
Have been gruesomely murdered in the ongoing genocide in Nigeria. Franc Utoo, a Nigerian lawyer and native of Yelewata, joins us now. Frank, these 50 that have been killed recently, you were talking with me before we got started about the manner in which they were killed. It wasn't, a bomb or something. This was a gruesome event. Can you tell me how these 50 people died?
The way they kill our people is in the most
I'm sorry, folks.
horrific, the most gruesome, the most cruel manner anyone could ever take. It will make even the devil to shiver. Because what they do is that when they come around, you run into your hut, into your house. And then what they do is that they will now, cycle the house with fear. They will lit fire on the house. And then when you are coming out, they will now hack you down with machete. So they're cutting you as if they are cutting a piece of wood. Not as even they are killing a wild animal. You don't even kill a wild animal that way. So they'll bust your brains with machete and you see spillage of brains. I believe you've seen some of these very horrific pictures. They are so graphic. I have hundreds of them in my phone right now. These are my siblings. These are my cousins. These are people I know so well. I know almost 80% of these people. As a matter of fact, some of them, I spoke to some of them a week before that thing happened. And anytime we speak, we talk with dread. We know that we're living on time bomb. We know that these things will come again. So every time I try to give them an advice, to keep their eyes open. But that was what happened. There are two of my aunties who were pregnant. One was pregnant with a twin. with twins. They split open the stomach, they remove the twins, and then slaughter the twin. So that's what's been happening. And when they are doing this, they begin to recite Allah Akbar, which unfortunately has become an internationally recognized slogan and motto for terrorists. It may have good intention. The words in Arabic says Allah is great or something like that. But unfortunately, it has become the most universally accepted slogan and motto.
So there you have it. They know for certain that these acts are carried out under the guise of under the color of Islam. They are carried out by jihadists, those that of the belief in the faith of Islam. That the Quran do say that they say that they are to kill the infidels. They are to subdue the unbelievers. So these are people that take these things that are in the Quran and other these. They take them literally, and they are out here in Nigeria attacking and murdering people. Now the incident he's talking about now is 50 Christians were killed in a village that he grew up in. But earlier this year, back during close around Easter time, there was around 250 people killed in a massacre. Before that, there was another 50 or 100 or so people killed in a massacre. But as we was looking at and doing some research on this and what has been happening in Nigeria, they got some of the information from different organizations. Let me pull it up. There are different organizations that have been kind of keeping track of what's going on and had some numbers as to the number of people that have died behind this. Let me see if I can pull it up. Okay. Here we go. All right. Now, the International Society of Civil Liberties and Rule of Law. This was Inter Society. This is the numbers they've come up with. They said that since January of 2023 to January 2024, approximately 8,200 Christians were murdered in Nigeria because of their faith, because they believe in Jesus Christ. These are Islamist extremists, these jihadists. They're going in at remote times with surprise attacks. They're butchering people. They're murdering people. Open Doors, in 2024, Open Doors reported 3,100 Christians killed and more than 2,000 kidnapped just last year. 3,100 killed, 2,000 kidnapped. And these numbers they think are low estimates because they realize that there are smaller, more like one-on-one or a lower number of incidents or occasions where Christians have been murdered because of their faith that didn't get reported, that they didn't get this information on them. But the Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa, the ORFA, they took some numbers and they took some information, and what they discovered or what they put out here is that from October 2019 till October 2023, which is a 4-year span, they said at least 16,769 Christians were killed in civilian attacks. 16,000 people in a 4-year time period murdered, killed because of their faith, killed because they accepted and or that they live out a Christian or claim a Christian faith, and that's an average of about 4,200 Christians a year. And this is a threat that here in America we have people that are adversarial to Christianity, people that have a disdain for Christianity. You may have some one-off incidents where you may have people that physically attack, physically try to harm Christians just exclusively because of their faith. But here in Nigeria, you are having Christians, several thousands a year, sporadically through different surprise attacks, through various encounters, where they are being murdered, where they are being killed, they are being martyred for their faith. So I say, for us that in a freer lands, for us that can practice our faith openly and securely, without fear of intimidation, of murder, or living under the threat of being attacked, we need to lift up Nigeria in prayer. And we need to be praying for revival. We need to be praying for revival, not just among the Christians, but we need to be praying for revival to break out so that people with eyes will be open to Jesus Christ, and that people of the Islamic faith in Nigeria will begin to be converted. That we should see a mass revival in Nigeria where the influence, so much so that the influence of the Islamists and the Jihadists is minimized, it's reduced, it's even eradicated, because there's such a shift in the demographics, because such an outpouring of people will leave Islam and convert to Christianity. Because there is a revival going on in many Islamic nations, or typically known to be Islamic nations. We're going to cover that as well. But I just wanted to highlight this from Nigeria. We're going to go a little further. He's going to share some more details, speaking on the things we're just talking about.
For jihadists. So they'll be slaughtering these people and be chanting Allah Akbar. That's what we've been facing. And unfortunately, the government of our country, the government of our state is doing extremely nothing about this, because they would just want to be politically correct. Because the kingsmen of these people are the same people who constitute the top echelon of the Nigerian political structure, business structure, and institutional structure. So you find a lot of our people who are so reluctant to do something about this, because they want to be politically correct. They want to have at every time political benefit and personal aggrandizement. So that's what we've been facing. So like I said earlier, we lived with this. We've been.
And that's what he's saying. They have to live with this. They have to live with this threat, because their political and social status and political situation of the nation, such that the people that are in power that can stop this don't stop this. They're sitting idly by while thousands are being murdered each year because of their faith, because they're not motivated politically to do something about it. They're not motivated because of the societal norms or social statuses to do something about it. So I'm hoping by bringing attention to this and helping to spread the word about this, that someone somewhere that may see these videos, that may get this information, can make an approach leaders in their nation, even in my nation. I mean, if I could sit with Donald Trump, I would tell him, hey, we don't have to do no military intervention, nothing like that, but we can at least let Nigeria know, hey, we know what you're doing, and we would like for you to stop it. We know what you're doing, and we'd like for you to stop it or do something about it. We'd like you to do something about it. But the greatest thing we can do, we can pray for revival. We can pray for specifically for revival in which those that are in Islam will be drawn into Christianity for the sake of the kingdom of God, so that the atmosphere, the political atmosphere, the social dynamics of the nation will change because of the outpouring of God and the change of people's heart through a revival. So if you would, to be praying with me for Nigeria. Like I say, I'm going to link in the description below more information about what's going on. There's a little bit further in here I wanted to play. Let me see if this is it here.
One of them is his kinsman, is a fellow Fulani, is a Muslim officer. So the youth took the bike with him and went to where the military guys are stationed and accosted that particular military officer. His name is Suleiman.
And what he's saying now here, that there was another incident where someone was murdered, a man and his entire family. The man was shot, crawled back into his house. The attackers rushed the house. He talked about how their houses are not like solid brick houses. They're made of clay and mud, so they're not very difficult to break into. But they cut through the mosquito netting in the one they had. They got in the house. They macheted him to death. The gentleman he talked about, which he said was a close friend of his father. They macheted his wife to death and his son to death that was there in the house with him. And they stole something from him, a motorbike. And that's what he's talking about. They found one of the people that was in possession of the stolen motorbike. They got him to confess to being partake in the attack. And the ringleader seemed to be a local military officer in this town, not far from where the attack happened at. And so what he's saying is there are people who are carrying this out. They are in positions of power, positions of authority. There are people that are Nigerian that may be in the military, but Islamic. They may be in a neighboring town. So he's saying, that some of these people that do this, they're connected, and even when it's found out or discovered, they just lie about it, and that there's no accountability taking place for what they're doing, for the attacks that took place. So therefore, the friend, the person he knows that died, whose family was murdered, that even though they know or they have evidence or they have a confession about those who took part in it, there's nothing happened. These people are facing no consequences. So once again, we need to be praying for our brothers and sisters in Nigeria. We need to be aware of the fact that about 4,000 Christian Nigerians every year being murdered just for their faith. And like I said, according to the stats, as many as 2,000 were kidnapped. Not only murdered, but there was over 2,000 kidnapped just in the year of 2024 alone. So let's keep them up in our prayers. They need revival. They need an intervention from God to spare them from being martyred and murdered and so brutally killed because of their faith. So once again, if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe to my channel. I plan on producing more of this. Also want to be highlighting not just the persecution, but also going to be highlighting and talking about some of the actual revivals that are breaking forth in different places of the world that we may not hear about. And I think it's important that as we as believers, as a global community, that we be notified of these things. We hear so much bad news. We hear so much about failures. We hear so much about who done this and who did that. But we need to be also need to hear about what's going on, how God is moving in the earth, how God is moving in different regions of the world, and that people are still coming to Christ. People are coming to Christ in groves when they finally hear the truth, when they finally hear the gospel. So it's so important for us to keep preaching the gospel because people are being converted. People are being saved all around the world. And if the revival can break out in Nigeria and Iran, some of the other different places that we're going to cover, surely, a mass revival can break out here in the States and across Europe, where churches have grown cold. Revival can break out. All right. So once again, Fred Wiggins, Evangelist Fred Wiggins, my YouTube page. You can please subscribe, hit the like button. So you can be notified, also to get notifications when we upload new videos. Once again, thank you for tuning in with us. We'll be back with more content.